Hello guys, it's Muzzy here, and today I'm bringing you a new deck profile which I believe is one of the top tier 1 decks. This deck plays one of the new skills from the structure deck, and it is one of the Marek skills. So on the back of the card it says at the start of the duel, we flip this card over, and only one of the Marek skills has that text, and it is Twisted Personality. So the skill reads, each time a player loses life points, we place a counter on this card, and it can hold a maximum of 3 counters. Then once per turn during our main phase, we can use one of the following skills. So we can remove 2 counters from this card and discard a random card from the opponent's hand. Or we can remove 3 counters from this card and we can destroy a face-up card the opponent controls. So for this deck, we want to be playing burn cards because we want to be generating as many counters throughout the game as possible. So we want to be using those counters for removal of our opponent's cards, either from their hand or from their field. By removing their cards, we're going to be simplifying the game. And by simplifying the game, we can summon our monsters and hopefully attack our opponent. The attack's either going to go through and generate counters on Twisted, or the opponent is going to have to waste traps on our attacks, and that's going to generate us advantage that way. So for the monsters, we're playing Gravekeeper's monsters. And the reason why we play Gravekeeper's monsters is solely because of Gravekeeper's Curse. To start the deck profile off, we play triple Gravekeeper's Curse. So this is a level 3 dark spellcaster with 800, and its effect text reads, if this card is summoned, we inflict 500 damage to the opponent. So this card's going to be generating us counters throughout the game, and it can generate us multiple counters throughout a turn. So the reason why we play this card over, say, Gravekeeper's Ambusher is solely because of the effect. The effect is more valuable for this deck over the raw stats of Ambusher. And when there's going to be a time when we have 2 counters and we're going to summon Curse to gain a third. We're going to use our skill to remove the 3 counters to remove a face-up monster the opponent controls, and then we're going to be connecting the 800 to the opponent. If it connects, then we're generating even more counters, and that's just better than normal summon a 1700 beta and possibly generating 1 counter per turn through its attack. And it probably won't even generate more than 1 counter, because who's going to summon a monster with less stats than Ambusher? So for the next monster we play the Heart and Soul of Gravekeeper decks, and it is triple Gravekeeper's Recruiter. So it is a dark spellcaster, level 3, 1200, 1500, and it reads, if this card you control is sent to your graveyard, we can add 1 Gravekeeper's monster with 1500 or less defense from our deck to our hand. So this card basically explains itself. It searches all our Gravekeepers. It can search itself. It has 1200 attacks, so we can go like aggressive with things. With it, it can hit over defense position, quite a few defense position monsters. And if we have it face down in defense position, if the opponent gets a bit frisky with a monster with under 1500, then if they attack into the Recruiter, they're just going to give us a counter for free. there's nothing else to explain for Recruiter, so we move on to the next monster. And that is, we play a single copy of Gravekeeper's Cannon Holder. So it is a level 4 Dark spellcaster with 1400 attack and 1200 defense. And it reads, we contribute one Gravekeeper's monster except Gravekeeper's Cannon Holder, and we inflict 700 damage to our opponent. So, why we play this card is because this card can generate us multiple counters, because we can tribute multiple Gravekeepers, and hopefully we get to like 3 counters that way, and then we can remove the 3 counters to get rid of opponent's monster, and then we can attack the opponent and generate more counters that way. Reason why we don't play more copies of this card is because this card is like a combo card. We only really want it with other Gravekeepers to do what it does. The reason why we play this card is why we choose to play it over any other Gravekeeper is solely just because of the effect. So we chose not to play Gravekeeper's Oracle, and because we think that Cannon Holder is better than Oracle, because they both fill the role of like a combo card, but Cannon Holder can be normal summon without a tribute. So that's one reason why we don't play Oracle, and we play Cannon Holder. Another reason for Oracle is that Oracle can't really be dropped just like randomly. It has to be dropped on like specific turns where you're going to get the most value from it, either by decreasing your opponent's monsters by 2k or by destroying their monsters. So it's going to be a card that's going to stick in your hand once you draw it, and that can be quite a problem. And we play a lot of Darkness, but that isn't a reason why we should play Oracle, because we want Oracle to like... Oracle is classed as a bomb, and we don't want to be allowing away our bomb, or like our one bomb for the game. So it's always going to be stuck in our hand, and it's always going to be not as good as other Gravekeepers in our hand for a law. So we're always going to be banishing the Oracle. So that is why we chose not to play Oracle. So the last card we play is 3 Sphere Kuriboh. So this card is a monster, but is essentially a trap card. So when our opponent declares an attack, we can send this card from our hand to the graveyard and change that monster to defense position. So it's basically like Kunai with Chain. But the reason why we play this over cards say like Kunai with Chain is solely because it's a dark and we play a lot of Darkness. That's one reason. And the second reason is against the Moth deck, if they play Bizer, it's just going to bounce a Kunai to hand, whereas Sphere is always going to be in hand and it will be live. And Sphere doesn't die to spell and trap removal, and Kunai does. That's it for Sphere. So for the spells, we play the previously mentioned triple Allure Darkness. So this text reads, it's a normal spell. We draw 2 cards and then we banish a dark monster from our hand. And then if we don't have a dark monster, we send our entire hand to the graveyard. So this card is like one of the perfect cards that came out for Gravekeeper, because in previous formats, Gravekeeper had a problem. They had they put themselves in like two situations and how they would like lose a game. The first situation would be if their hand didn't have a Gravekeeper monster, or it just had, say, Oracle in hand, then they couldn't play. They couldn't like summon the Oracle, or like they had Rite of Spirit. So because they had no Gravekeeper monster, they can't use that. So they're just having dead cards in hand, and they just lose because like they would brick. So law fixes that problem, because if you've got like Sphere Karibo in our hand, we can activate this card and we can dig for our Gravekeeper's monsters. And if we do miss our Gravekeepers, we can still banish our Sphere. The second situation which would arise for a Gravekeeper deck would be they would have multiple Gravekeepers in hand and no spell or trap, and then they would just like, if the opponent would run them over with bigger monsters, they would just lose because they can't stick a monster, so they can't get Oracle out. So how a law fixes this problem is that you're going to activate a law and you're going to be digging for trap cards, and you're going to be banishing one of the Gravekeepers that isn't going to be doing anything, and it's just going to be stuck in your hand. So that's that for law. It's a very good card in this deck. So the last spell we play is a single Wonder Wand. So this card is an equip spell, and we equip it to a spellcaster, which is all the Gravekeeper monsters, and the equipped monster gains 500 attack. And then if we control the equipped monster and this card, we can send both to the graveyard and we can draw 2 cards. So this card can be comboed with Curse and Recruiter. It can be combo with Curse. We can put Curse to the graveyard and then we can Rite of Spirit back up to give us multiple counters. Or we can combo it with Recruiter, so we're drawing 2 cards and then we're getting it to search. So like this card comes like 3 cards. In the last like situation, we can put it on a Recruiter or a Cannon Holder, and we can just go beat down with it. So for the trap cards, we play double Rite of Spirit. Its text reads: target 1 Gravekeeper's monster in your graveyard, and we special summon that target. The last part of the effect is irrelevant. So this card can combo with our Curse, giving us multiple counters. It can be used to bring up one of our Gravekeepers in defense position to block an attack. If we choose to get Recruiter, we can search cards, or we can activate it. Say if our opponent attacks with their biggest attack monster and the remainder monsters have less than 1500 or less, then we can place Rite of Spirit to bring up the Recruiter and basically end their battle phase. There's not much else to explain about Rite of Spirit. Actually, this is just like a basic Gravekeeper thing. So sometimes you can like bait attacks with your monsters on field and bait a Windstorm of Attacker, and then you can flip up the Rite of Spirit to get another Gravekeeper monster to try and end the game that way. So the opponent, it basically baits another trap card, or it will just win the game from there. So the next trap we play is triple Nightmare Wheel. So this card is a continuous trap card, and its text reads: We activate this card by targeting one monster the opponent controls. The target cannot attack or change its battle position. When it leaves the field, we destroy this card. Then once per turn during our standby phase, we inflict 500 damage to the opponent, and then the monster must be on the field to activate and resolve this effect. So this is another card that's going to be generating us counters. It's also going to be stopping the opponent from killing us, and it's going to be like freezing a monster on the opponent's board. So that's like 3 very good things that it can do. It can also be used against the Shock Moth combo, which I'm going to describe a bit later in the deck profile. So the last card we play is Triple Zone with the Spirit. So this card is a trap monster. So it reads, we special summon this card in defense position as an effect monster, and it is a zombie dark level 4 with an attack of 1800 and a defense of 500. This card is also still treated as a trap card, and then if we special summon this card this way and it's destroyed by battle, we inflict damage to the opponent equal to the attack of that monster. So this card is going to come up in like 3 situations. So we're in situation 1, we're going to activate this card in the opponent's end phase and special summon it to the field in defense position. Then in our main phase, because it was on the field for the turn, we can switch this to attack, and then we can attack over our opponent's monsters. If the monsters are in attack position, we're going to be dealing damage and gaining more counters that way. If the opponent has, so in the second situation, is we can do that, like I previously said, but the monster that we are attacking has more attack, so the zone is going to get destroyed and we're going to be dealing the opponent a big chunk of effect damage, possibly ending the game. And then in the third situation is the opponent is going to attack with a monster and we're going to activate Zone the Spirit. So it's going to be special summoned, and either the opponent chooses not to attack it because the effect of Zone is probably going to kill them, or they choose to attack it and it essentially becomes like a magic cylinder that way. So this card is also one of another card that we're going to need against the Shock Moth deck. I'll go into that right now. So the plan against the Shock Moth deck is we are going to be one to keep them off monsters because we don't want them to tribute summon for Shock. So we're going to be keeping them off monsters off the field. If we can't do that because we don't have the monsters to kill their monsters, or they have Zoma, we're going to be trying to snipe cards before they can get a monster on the field and make it stick. We're going to be sniping cards from the opponent's hand to try and hit combo pieces to try and prevent them from comboing off. But this, they may decide to combo off without all the pieces. So what they need is 100% they need Parasite in the hand, and you can choose to combo, say they just have Parasite and Moth, so that field is just going to generate double Moth, or they're going to have Shock Parasite, so they're going to tribute for Shock, bounce everything, and then Parasite face up monster to summon a Moth. So the field could be Moth or just Moth. So we want to be forcing the opponent into comboing early that way. So we're going to be... So if the opponent does establish the full combo, we're going to be wanting multiple of this card, and either this card or this card. So we're going to be wanting multiple Zoma. So we're going to need 2 Zoma, and we're going to either need Nightmare Wheel or Sphere Karibo. So the opponent tribute summons for Buys a Shock, and its effect triggers. So it's like chaining 2, 3, and 4. We can chain our trap cards. We're going to Nightmare Wheel the Buys a Shock, and we're going to summon double Zoma. So the opponent now is a bit stuck, because if they parasite a Zoma away and summon double Moth and can't kill us, then the Moth can't. Then they have to be able to kill us by doing that, because Moth over Zoma deals 3/5 damage. The Moth into our life points, and we survive, and then come to our standby phase. They're getting dealt 500 damage, and that's exactly 4k. So if you play these 3 cards, you end their combo that way, unless they have like a Dust Tornado on one of these, and then that kind of changes the math. But if they don't have anything to respond to these, once the Buys a Shock gets dropped, we end their combo that way, and then we can just continue and taking their board apart and their hand away from them. So if we don't have Nightmare Wheel and we have this, so the opponent tribute summons Buys a Shock. We play double Zoma. The opponent parasites the Zoma away and summons Moth and possibly Moth 2. So the Buys a Shock is going to attack Zoma, and we're going to activate Sphere on that. And then they have Moth. So because we Sphere the Buys a Shock, we are going to survive the second Moth. So then they can't really attack the Zoma, because they're going to be taking 3/5 and they're going to be left on 500. So they either have to attack and they're on 500 life points and put us to 500, or their turn ends and then we draw and we take their board apart, or just kill them through ramming this into Moth after we summoned a curse. So my thoughts on this deck. So this deck is a slow control kind of deck that wins through dealing little bits of battle damage and burn damage, and can sometimes deal a big amount to end the game. So this deck is going to be a deck for like any person can pick up. This deck's going to take a bit of skill to play, because this deck is going to be playing a lot more turns than your average Moth deck would play, because they just end the game. Your game plan is to like grind with your opponent, so you're going to be taking a lot more turns. So by taking more turns, you're going to have a lot more decisions to make, and I feel like because there isn't a win button card like Parasite for this deck, you have to play your turns a lot better than your opponent's playing theirs, or you're just going to lose. So this deck, I feel, is quite a hard deck to play, and if you're going to pick this deck up and play this deck, you're going to have to be ready to take losses. But by taking losses, you hopefully go back and see where maybe you made the mistake, and by doing that, that's going to make you better as a player. By doing that, so this deck suits my play style. That's the type of deck I like to play, and I'm more of like a grindy kind of player than like a OTKU combo kind of shock moth player. So that's it for like my analysis on the profile. So if you took the time to watch this video, please can you hit the like, comment or subscribe button. I deeply appreciate that, and hopefully I can get some more deck profiles and analysis up for you guys. Thanks for taking the time, and this is Muzzy out.